Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lesson life will teach you whether you're ready for it or not. You may not believe it now, but one day you will. That lesson is this: no one is your friend. Self-reliance is the foundation of real success. Many people go through life believing that friendships, relationships, or external support systems will be their backbone. They assume that if they treat people well, those people will stand by them when times get tough. But reality doesn't work that way. People are unpredictable. Their priorities shift, their circumstances change, and when they do, their loyalty, their attention, and their so-called friendship can disappear just as quickly as it appeared. If your success is built on the assumption that others will always be there to lift you up, then you're building on unstable ground. Think about the greatest achievers in history: leaders, innovators, and game changers. None of them got to where they were because they waited for others to help them. They pushed forward despite obstacles. They didn't waste time complaining about who wasn't supporting them or who let them down. They learned to depend on themselves. They built their skills, their mindset, and their strength so that even when people left, even when the world turned its back on them, they kept going. You have to develop that same mindset. The moment you start expecting others to pave your way, you've already lost control of your own future. Nobody is going to make you successful. Nobody is going to make you disciplined. Nobody is going to push you toward your dreams the way you can push yourself. That is your responsibility, and it always will be. That doesn't mean you have to isolate yourself or reject every relationship in your life. It simply means you must never become dependent. You must never put your goals, your growth, or your happiness in the hands of someone else. When you do that, you're giving them control over your life. And the truth is, most people are too focused on their own battles to fight yours for you. Life will test you. It will put you in situations where you feel alone, where you feel abandoned, where you feel like nobody is in your corner. But instead of feeling sorry for yourself, take that as a lesson. Learn to stand strong on your own. Learn to build yourself up so high that whether people support you or not, you will still rise. It all comes down to this: do you want to be in control of your destiny, or do you want to rely on others to shape your future? Because if you choose the latter, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. People can walk away, but your discipline stays. People can break promises, but your work ethic remains. People can switch up, but your commitment to yourself should never waver. The only person responsible for your success is you. You are your own safety net, your own motivator, your own best friend. The sooner you accept that, the stronger you become. So stop waiting, stop expecting, build yourself, and you'll never have to depend on anyone again. People come and go. It's a reality of life that many struggle to accept. We grow up believing in the idea of lifelong friendships, of people who will stand by us no matter what. We assume that the connections we build will last forever, but life has a way of proving otherwise. The truth is, most relationships are built on circumstances, not unbreakable bonds. Think about it. When you're in school, your friends are the people you see every day. You spend time together, share experiences, and build what feels like an unshakable connection. But then life moves forward. You graduate, you take different paths, and suddenly, those daily conversations fade. The people you once thought were permanent in your life become nothing more than a memory, not because they stopped caring, but because life pulled you in different directions. This pattern doesn't stop in school. It happens in workplaces, in neighborhoods, in social circles. People form relationships based on proximity and common interests, but when those circumstances change, so do the relationships. A coworker you see every day might feel like a close friend, but the moment one of you leaves that job, the connection weakens. A neighbor you talk to regularly might seem like family, but if one of you moves, that bond starts to fade. And with it, the people around you will change. This isn't a bad thing, it's simply how things work. But the problem arises when you expect people to stay the same forever. When you assume that just because someone is in your life today, they will be there tomorrow. That assumption leads to disappointment because sooner or later people will move on, either by choice or by circumstance. Understanding this reality is not about becoming cold or distant, it's about being prepared. When you recognize that friendships and relationships are often situational, you stop taking it personally when people drift away. You stop feeling betrayed when someone who once stood by your side is no longer there. Instead, you learn to appreciate the time you had with them, the lessons they brought into your life, and then you move forward without resentment. The worst thing you can do is cling to people who are trying to move on. Desperation will never keep anyone in your life. People stay because they want to, not because you beg them to. Instead of trying to hold on to relationships that have run their course, focus on yourself. Keep growing, keep evolving, because just as people leave, new people will enter. The key is to build yourself in a way that no matter who comes or goes, you remain solid, you remain whole. You are not defined by the people around you, but by the person you choose to become. The sooner you accept that people are temporary, the sooner you can start truly living without fear, without attachment, and without the pain of losing those who were never meant to stay forever. Loyalty is rare. It is one of the most valuable traits a person can have, yet one of the hardest to find. Many people will claim to be by your side, but words are easy. Promises are easy. What truly matters is action. And when life gets difficult, when challenges arise, that is when you will see people for who they really are. When everything is going well, when you're successful, when you have something to offer, when life is smooth, people will surround you, they will call you a friend, they will speak highly of you, they will act as if they will always be there. But the moment hardship strikes, the moment you need support, the crowd starts to thin. People suddenly become busy, they stop returning calls, they distance themselves. Why? Because their loyalty was never to you, it was to the benefits of being around you. But an important one. Many people do not stay in your life because of who you are. They stay because of what they gain from you. It could be money, status, opportunities, or simply the good energy you bring. But when those benefits disappear, so do they. It's not personal. It's just how people operate. Some people will even pretend to be loyal, but when tested, they will fail. They will betray you, abandon you, or turn against you if it benefits them. The sooner you recognize this, the less disappointment you will face. Instead of assuming that loyalty is a given, understand that true loyalty is proven over time, through consistency and through hardship. Anyone can be around you in the good times, but who is there in the bad? Real loyalty doesn't need to be spoken. It is shown through action. It is the friend who stands by you when you have nothing to offer. It is the person who defends your name when you're not in the room. It is the one who checks on you when you're struggling without expecting anything in return. These people are rare, but they exist. And when you find them, appreciate them, but never assume that just because someone calls you their friend, they will act like one when it truly matters. The mistake people make is putting blind trust in everyone who shows them kindness. They assume that just because someone is friendly, they are loyal. That just because someone supports them when times are good, they will support them when times are bad. But loyalty is not about presence in comfort. It is about presence in struggle. It is about standing firm when things get tough, when there is no reward for staying. If you want to protect yourself, stop expecting loyalty from everyone. Instead, observe people's actions over time. Pay attention to who is there when you have nothing to give. And most importantly, be loyal to yourself first. Because at the end of the day, the only person whose loyalty you can truly control is your own. Your purpose is the only thing that should guide you. Too many people waste time chasing friendships, seeking approval, and worrying about who supports them. They let the presence or absence of people dictate their direction in life. But here's the truth. The people around you will change, but your purpose remains. If you spend your life trying to keep friends close, trying to impress people, trying to fit in, you will lose sight of what truly matters. You will compromise your goals for the sake of belonging. And for what? Temporary companionship? Validation from people who may not even be around tomorrow? That is a losing game. Success requires focus, and focus means cutting out distractions, especially the distraction of needing approval. Many people fail not because they lack talent or ability, but because they are too busy worrying about what others think. They hesitate, they second-guess themselves. They shrink their ambitions to avoid making others uncomfortable. But you cannot build a strong future while carrying the weight of other people's opinions. The most dangerous thing you can do is let friendships determine your future. There will be times when the path you are meant to take is a lonely one. times when you have to move forward without a crowd, without applause, without the comfort of company. If you are not willing to walk alone, you will never reach where you are supposed to go. Greatness demands sacrifice. That means sacrificing comfort, sacrificing distractions, and sometimes sacrificing relationships that no longer serve you. If you focus on your purpose, the right people will align with you, but if you focus on people, you may drift away from your purpose. You must decide which matters more. Many people are stuck in life because they are afraid to outgrow their circle. They don't want to leave friends behind, even when those friends are no longer growing. They don't want to stand out, even when standing out is what they were meant to do. But if you want to succeed, you must have the courage to move forward, even if it means walking alone for a while. Do not chase friendships, chase growth. Chase excellence. Chase the vision that was placed in your heart, because when you dedicate yourself to your purpose, you will attract the right people. People who align with your journey, people who push you forward instead of holding you back. And when those people come, you won't have to force their loyalty. You won't have to convince them to support you. They will be there because they see your vision, because they believe in what you are building, because they are meant to be part of your journey. So stop seeking validation. Stop worrying about who is or isn't in your corner. Put your head down and work, because at the end of the day, success doesn't come from who you know, it comes from what you do. And if you stay focused, the right people will find you. But even if they don't, you must keep going. True friendship is not something that happens overnight. It is not built on words, promises, or temporary acts of kindness. It is earned through time, through consistency, through actions that prove loyalty and commitment. Too many people assume that just because someone calls them a friend, they truly are one. But words are easy. What really matters is who stands by you when it counts. The mistake most people make is assuming that just because they get along with someone, that person will always be there for them. They trust too quickly. They open up too fast. They assume that kindness equals loyalty. But life will teach you otherwise. People can be kind today and distant tomorrow. They can make promises today and forget them tomorrow. That is why true friendship must be earned, not assumed. A real friend is not just someone who enjoys your company. A real friend is someone who is there when you are at your lowest. Someone who supports you even when you have nothing to offer. Someone who defends you when you are not around. Who tells you the truth even when it's hard to hear. Who pushes you to be better instead of letting you settle. Most people will not meet this standard. They will be there in the good times, but disappear when things get tough. They will enjoy your success, but stay silent when you struggle. And that is why you cannot afford to place blind trust in everyone who smiles at you. You must observe people's actions over time. You must see who is there when life gets difficult. You must recognize the difference between a friend of convenience and a friend of character. This doesn't mean you should be cold or distant. It simply means you must be wise. You must understand that true friendship is rare, and you cannot expect it from everyone. Instead of assuming loyalty, let people prove it. Instead of trusting blindly, trust based on experience. And just as you expect loyalty from others, be willing to give it yourself. Be the kind of friend you want to have. Stand by people when they are struggling. Be honest, be supportive, be dependable. Because in a world where most people are only loyal to their own interests, real friendships stand out. But they are built, not given. If you go through life assuming everyone is your friend, you will face disappointment. But if you go through life with the understanding that true friendship is earned, not assumed, you will be much wiser, much stronger, and much less likely to be hurt. Let time reveal who is truly in your corner. Let actions show you who is worth your loyalty. And most importantly, never rely on friendship to define your worth. Because at the end of the day, the most important friend you will ever have is yourself. There is one person you can always count on, yourself. No matter how many friends you have, no matter how many people claim to support you, at the end of the day, the only person who will always be there for you is you. People may come and go, some will stand by you for a while, but when life, so will their presence. That is why you must learn to be your own biggest supporter, your own source of motivation, your own strength. Too many people go through life depending on others. They expect friends to always be there, to always understand, to always support them. But reality does not work that way. Everyone has their own struggles, their own priorities, their own battles to fight. And when those priorities shift, you may find yourself alone. That is not a bad thing. It is simply a fact of life. The strongest people are those who understand that self-reliance is key. They do not break when others leave because they were never depending on them in the first place. They do not lose themselves trying to keep people around. Instead, they focus on building themselves up, making sure that no matter who stays or who leaves, they remain solid. This does not mean you should reject friendships or isolate yourself. It simply means you should never expect someone else to carry you. If you want something in life, you must be willing to work for it, to push yourself, to keep moving forward, even when no one is cheering for you. Because there will be days when nobody claps for you, days when nobody checks in, days when you feel like you are walking alone. And in those moments, your strength will come from within, not from outside validation. The problem is that too many people base their self-worth on who is around them. They feel important when they are surrounded by friends. They feel motivated when others encourage them. But what happens when those friends leave? What happens when that encouragement disappears? If you do not have inner strength, you will crumble. If you have not built yourself up, you will feel lost. That is why the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. Be your own best friend. Encourage yourself. Push yourself. Motivate yourself. Learn to be comfortable in your own company. Learn to trust your own decisions. Because the moment you stop relying on others for validation, you become unstoppable. People can walk away, life can change, but if you have built yourself to be independent, nothing can break you. You will keep going, keep growing, keep succeeding, not because someone told you to, but because you decided to, and that is the ultimate power. So stop waiting for people to believe in you, stop waiting for someone to push you forward, be that person for yourself, because at the end of the day, the only person who will always be there for you is you. You must understand this. No one is truly your friend in the way you might expect. People will come and go. Some will stay for a season, some will leave when times get tough, and some will only be there when it benefits them. That is why you cannot build your life depending on others. Loyalty is rare. True friendship is earned, not assumed. And most relationships are built on circumstances, not unbreakable bonds. If you expect people to always be there, you will be disappointed. But if you learn to stand on your own, to trust yourself, to be your own biggest supporter, you will never be broken, no matter who stays or who leaves. Your purpose must come first. If you spend your life chasing friendships, seeking approval, or worrying about who supports you, you will lose sight of your own path. Stop looking for validation. Stop waiting for people to push you. Push yourself, because success is not about who you know, it is about what you do. You are the only person who will be with you from the beginning to the end. When no one claps for you, clap for yourself. When no one stands beside you, stand tall on your own. Because the moment you stop relying on others and start trusting yourself, you become unstoppable. People may come and go, but you must remain solid. Be your own friend, be your own motivation, be your own strength, and no matter what happens, keep moving forward. Invest in yourself, trust in yourself, because at the end of the day, when the lights go out and the crowd is gone, the only person who will always be there for you is you. Now go out there and own your life.